Welcome back, my fellow degenerates. Week 9 started off with a banger surprise of the Jets taking down the Texans, and this game included one of the best catches of the past decade. I mean, Garrett Wilson, man, he's just the story of the season when it comes to the wide receiver rooms. Last 2 seasons, oh, he sucks. He sucks. His quarterback sucks. He can't turn it around. He's a top 5 wide receiver this year. Love to see it. He's finally on the same page with Aaron Rodgers, and he just put up the best catch of the season. I don't think anyone tops it going forward. So kudos to G Willie. Moving on with the weekend, we saw man, so many more injuries, though. It's just the whole tale of this season. I mean, Drake London with a hip pointer, Chris Olave getting absolutely murdered out there. People are calling an act of terrorism on Derek Carr, which honestly isn't too far fetched. Moving on, Dak Prescott tearing his hamstring off the bone, just so brutal to see. Not great for CD Lamb owners. And hell, even Puka Nakua got ejected from a game. He was throwing hands with the Seahawks, a little bit feisty. I think it was a little bit of a soft ejection, but definitely a big impact on the fantasy week. Moving on, Dan and I will answer questions about every game and go over some key takeaways. Only 5 weeks remain in the fantasy football regular season, which means every week means more and more. That being said, every start decision is also very important. This past week, maybe you started Keon Coleman. He's had some great games. He's looked like a really a bright prospect growing. And this past week, he gets a ball in the end zone, hits him in the hands, and he drops it. So maybe you lost just because of that, which is unfortunate. So no pressure or anything, but now is not the time to fuck up your start sit decisions. Anyways, that's about all I got. So hope you guys enjoy the video. As always, good luck in all of your fantasy football endeavors, unless you're in one of our leagues, because then luck ain't gonna save you. Peace.
Audio.
3, 2, 1, action. Welcome back to the DGen Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Dan Schmader, and with me tonight is my faithful fellow co-host, Dylan Rains.
Yellow.
How we doing tonight?
We're good. We're good. I don't know how I felt. I was on vacation, so I was in and out of watching these games, but I went back last night and binged about most of them. It was a kind of another shitty week, right? That was like my initial reaction.
I mean, it was a rough week for fantasy, I think, for some teams. Other teams like kind of popped off in our leagues.
Yeah.
It was interesting. The RBs continue to be
Yeah.
of incredible importance this season.
Yeah. I did pivot one of my teams like a week ago to like RB heavy, and it is working out great. So we love that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And we'll talk a little bit about that today. We're going to review week 9, go over some burning questions that we still have. Because this is a time of year, Dylan, where I feel like these guys emerge, like some players that may not have been there, a la Cedric Tillman, he's on bye this week. Some guys start to emerge. And then some of them are vets too, which we'll have to talk about. But let's get into week 9. Like you said, some of these games were ugly. This one I felt like was pretty ugly too. We'll start with Thursday night. Jets and Texans.
Yeah.
Jacksons. My burning question for this game: Jets won 21-13. Aaron Rodgers actually had a pretty good game, and for as much as we like to make fun of the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, their decision making, Rodgers is now a QB1. He's QB12 on the year.
Yep.
Devontae Adams has been getting targets, and then this past week, he finally put up a plus 20 game. Granted, it was on like a 37-yard touchdown towards the end of the game, but still, bear with me. Garrett Wilson is a top 6 guy now.
Yeah.
And top 5. Yeah, been blowing up. And then Brees could be a guy like a trade target down the stretch where he really starts to pick it up. How do you feel about the Jets from here? Are you going to buy any of these players? Devontae, you still might be able to get something on the cheap.
I don't
know for Wilson's probably gone.
Yeah, I don't think you can buy any of these guys. I mean, maybe Rodgers you could buy. Someone could be like, it's kind of a fluke week. They're probably not relying on him as their starter, but nobody's going to sell Brees. He was a first round draft pick. So it's like at this point, they held on for so long. They're not selling them. even though he had a kind of underwhelming week. And then Devontae finally popped, and Garrett Wilson is like everything we've been hoping for the past 2 years. So you can't
Yeah,
trade him. I mean, that catch was like up there with like one of the best catches, top 10 or like last 10 years.
believable catch.
It was still like I still
Here's
thought,
Rodgers' next few games. He's
yeah,
got Arizona week 10. Fuck yeah. And he's got the Colts, another weak ass pass D. And then they're on bye. And then his playoff schedule is a little bit more difficult. Seattle, Miami,
yep.
and Jacksonville. So maybe the call is to not pursue Rodgers. But what about Devontae? Do you think you get some Devontae action?
I don't know. I don't think anyone's gonna
Yeah.
like sell him right now.
Off that game.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just too hard. So
Okay. On the other side of the ball, the Texans, Tank Dell finally blew up. CJ kind of had a rough game again, but I really don't think you can blame CJ Stroud for these things. I think, Nico being gone, Stephon Diggs, Schultz is the slowest man alive. But Tank Dell did look really good. So hopefully things get better for Nico from here. And Joe Mixon continues to dominate.
yeah, I think Mixon's top 5 RB rest of the season. Like set it, forget it. He's so good. I'm
What is going on there? He looks amazing too. It's not just like statistics. He looks
yeah. He's just
like a
got the
beast.
juice back, I guess. I mean, we're back to like the young Joe Mixon. I mean, he's only I think 27 now. I mean, it seems like this age thing is kind of going away a little bit this season with the running backs. I mean, we have like Derrick Henry going off, Joe Mixon going off, even like Kareem Hunt looks great. They're all a little bit,
So you bring up a great point here. Did we think there was an age cliff because NFL teams and organizations would just move off running backs before, like they're still in their prime and they're just like, you're too expensive. We think you've lost a step and we're going to go and draft a rookie. And in reality, they're not actually having this like physical decline. They're just like getting moved off into a bad
yeah.
situation.
I think this is like a way deeper topic to explore, but I think if you had to sum it up is I think the Patriots won too many Super Bowls with committee running backs, and they showed the league that you don't need to pay a running back. It's almost pointless to pay a running back when you could have 3 guys who all do one thing really well, like having a great pass blocker, a great pass catcher, a great running down back, and pay them collectively like 3 mil.
3 million.
So they're just
Yeah.
not going to get these bigger contracts. So that's just kind of the dying off. I think a lot of teams modeled after that, and now we're kind of seeing a move back to these running backs like popping off when they're older. So
Yeah, because the other teams couldn't replicate it. And so
yeah,
now that's awesome. Hopefully that helps these guys. These guys get paid a little bit. I
yeah,
think that's a great point. Okay. We can't talk about the Jets, Texans, the Jacksons the whole night.
yeah. No, we
Let's move
cannot.
on to Cowboys and Falcons. This was a tough fucking game, dude.
Yeah.
Dak is obviously on IR, right?
Yep.
What? And so like pretty much RIP CD, Jake Ferguson, and in deeper leagues, even Jalen Tolbert. CD isn't like dead per se, but I would say there's absolutely no shot that he's giving you the production of where you draft him to be, which is a shame. Do you find that to be the same case with Cooper Rush, maybe Trey Lance? Although
No, it's not
I
Trey
don't know if that would
Lance.
make things any better.
Yeah, I think CD could be fine here, but anyone else, every other player is just going way down. I think
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if CD became, oh, excuse me. CD just like target hogged things and they just like force fed him the ball like 15 targets every game.
oh, that would be delicious.
Um, but I'm not expecting that, but like I could see that with Cooper Rush's limited skill set. So, but everyone else on the
Yep.
roster, not exciting. The running back room, Rico had some good plays this week. Zeke was obviously suspended by the team. Kind of, we don't really know what that was yet. So, but obviously with Cooper Rush, the run game is way less interesting. So,
Shame. On the other side of the ball, the Falcons, it looked great. Kirk Cousins
yes.
is like potentially in like an MVP category. I mean, obviously not because Lamar, Josh Allen, but he's looked amazing, especially after that week 1. where I know around the league there's a lot of panic. He looks
Yep.
slow. He looks amazing. Drake London did get injured on an absolutely stellar touchdown catch.
Yeah.
But it's a hip pointer, allegedly. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, he should be
Where is it?
fine.
Yeah, hip pointers do hurt, though. But I
Yeah.
was kind of disappointed back in the game.
Yeah, you can play through that. So,
Yeah. Because I
um,
felt like he was going off for a big day. But in the meantime, Darnell Mooney, even with London, he looks fantastic. He's crossing into like the high end wide receiver 2, putting up wide receiver 1 weeks.
yep.
They just look great. Bijan is playing out of his mind. Algier is kind of taking a step back.
Yeah.
That being said, I still wouldn't say Bijan is like that top, build your, bell cow guy like Derrick Henry, Saquon,
Yeah.
Joe
I
Mixon.
think he's just outside of it though, solely with the passing game involvement. I mean, this game he had 7 catches, so
Yeah.
that's way more. Other than Kamara, he's just like way ahead of those other guys. So we like
Yep.
that for him.
I'll make up for Bijan's, lack of goal line work that he sometimes.
Yeah, Algier vultured one, but I think Bijan still put up 21 points, 22 points in full PPR. So
Yep. Perfect.
yeah.
Wheels up, baby. Get well soon, Drake. Okay, next game, Bills Dolphins. This actually was a tight game, 30-27. The only thing I really had to see was like I want more Bills, dude. They're looking good. The only thing about the Bills that I find strange, and this was the case last week, is they'll play excellent football. Josh Allen will look great, but then you look at the skill players on the team, running backs, wide receivers, and there's a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
Left to be desired. What do you think about Khalil Shakir going forward? Cooper has a mysterious injury. I believe it's a wrist. I think Keon Coleman's dealing with an injury. Do you think Shakir's like getting to the point now where he's, a lock flex play? He's also the wide receiver 20.
Yeah, I feel like with his skill set compared to the rest of the weapons here, he's like the only safe play, but he's not super exciting. We have seen his ceiling be like 20 points with a touchdown. So, I mean, it's not super bad, but I mean, this game he had 6 for 50. Every week he's kind of like that 4 to 6 for 50 ish. So he is like safe, but not exciting. But I like him way more than playing Keon Coleman. He's total boomer bust guy. I mean, he had a stone hands play in the end zone there. So we don't like that.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Old stone hands.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would play Shakir in the flex for sure. James Cook, obviously, although Ray Davis, he's pounding on the door.
Yeah.
But Cook is just so explosive and electric that you don't want to miss his boom games.
Yep.
The Dolphins, they actually looked better, or should I say, Devon Achane looked better. But what's up with Tyreek and Waddle? Like, are we expecting this to turn around at all this season?
I don't know, man. This is so frustrating to see. Obviously, with Tua in, A-Chain's the RB1. He's averaging like 28 points per game or something with Tua. So, I mean, he got the receiving touchdown. He got the rushing touchdown. Waddle did get 1 touchdown right at the end of the game. So that was like good to see. But I think he had 2 catches for negative yards in the TD. So, yeah, I don't know. Like Tyreek is awful this year. It's just even with Tua, his games are not great. So it's outside of he hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1. Like I don't know what this is. It's like he didn't miss any time. He hasn't been injured, and he's like wide receiver 45. So
Right. Even with backups, you think he could have like produced.
yeah.
Although their backups are quite bad.
I don't think it's necessarily on him though. It feels like the offense is just like a little it's their scheme. It's I don't know. Maybe Mike Daniels just like not calling the right plays anymore for Tyreek. They kind of had to switch things up, but
Yeah, it's safe to say if you drafted Tyreek Hill in the first round, like your team is not doing good.
yeah.
And same with CMC for that matter. But CMC should be coming back. But we'll get to that next episode, week 10 review. All right, moving on. Let's go to the Raiders-Bengals game. This game was 41-24. Joe Burrow played out of his fucking mind. He looked absolutely excellent. 5 touchdowns. But oddly enough, um, Jamar Chase did not really do much, but I would say don't worry about that
yeah.
whatsoever. Gesicki is not getting 30 points a week.
No.
But I'm pumped about the Bengals to play them. Chase Brown looked really good, very explosive. He had 27 carries. Unfortunately, and this is one that we didn't touch on yet, but Khalil Herbert is a Bengal now.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that. I mean, Zach Moss went to the IR, right? So, and he's most likely out for the season. So it's just like they don't have anyone else behind him right now, even on the roster. I
Yeah.
don't think so. They had to do something. So, but I
Yeah.
think it's exciting for Chase Brown. He's definitely the feature back. He had 27 carries this week, pass game involvement. So, I mean, he had, I
Yeah.
think, 32 opportunities this week. That's crazy for a running back. So, and the offense is great. So,
Yeah, good point. So even if they take off, if Khalil Herbert eats into it, which this week I doubt we'll see much of him, because Herbert I've always thought was a good running back. I was expecting him to kind of maybe shock the world this year with DeAndre Swift in Chicago.
yeah.
But he actually has been like healthy scratches. So maybe I was wrong, but I've always thought he looked like he had some good speed and explosiveness. Yeah, Chase Brown looks great. This shout out to all the fantasy gurus who called this guy out after last year. Raiders, is it even worth discussing? Hold on, let me bring up the box score real quick. Oh, man, brutal. Okay. Minshew's terrible. Desmond Ritter played, scored a touchdown. Oh, Jacoby Myers, I would say that you can now start flexing Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, maybe. This was still like kind of like a scuffed game script. Like the Bengals got so far ahead, they were just kind of airing it out, and Jacoby ended up like getting decent volume. So I don't know if it's
He
in
got a
like
lot of target.
in a closer game. I'm not really sure. Also, it's like Minshew was like maybe hurt. They're kind of like secretive about it. I don't know if he was actually hurt or not for Ritter to come in, or they just wanted to bench him. But the QB play is atrocious. So
Yeah. I mean, Brock Bowers are obviously thrown in there.
yeah,
He didn't have a great game, but in tight end world, he still put up 9 points. And
no, he got a
played pretty
touchdown.
well. Oh, he scored too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he
Fine.
had like 15 and a half.
Right. So he was the tight end, what, 2 on the week?
Yeah, behind
Oh,
Hunter,
actually, no.
behind Hunter Henry,
Guess-
you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Chargers Browns, another snooze fest. 27-10 Chargers. Chargers are starting to look very, very good.
Yeah.
It's exciting to see. Herbert is throwing more, and obviously we already knew he was very good. Just needed an opportunity to get more volume out. And this has also been helping J.K. Dobbins a little bit.
Yep.
He struggled kind of like middle of the season, but ended up having a really good game. I'm excited about the Chargers. I think their schedule's also not terrible in terms of
Yep.
defenses they will face.
Yeah.
Although they do have the Broncos coming up, I think.
No, they're playing the Chiefs this week.
Ooh.
No,
Fuck.
the Broncos are playing the Chiefs. Sorry.
Oh, the Broncos are.
Yeah.
Okay.
The But yeah, I mean, the Chargers look great. Their defense is so good. They're like top rated in a lot of categories. So obviously, when you have a great defense, it really helps your offense. So Herbert's looked amazing. I think Ladd's still the receiver to own here, but it was against Jameis Winston and the Browns. So you got to whelm your expectations a little bit.
For sure. But just in terms of how their offense looked
Yep.
for 6 weeks in the last few, it's exciting. Because you can now start using guys like Ladd and guys like Quentin Johnson. No, I'm just kidding. Don't play
Yeah.
him. All righty. We're not even going to touch on the Browns players. Besides Cedric Tillman,
Yeah, he could be a league winner.
aka Nico Collins.
Yeah, he could be.
Yeah, we'll see.
He's looking real nice. So
We'll just touch on this real quickly. Patriots and Titans. Titans won 20-17. Who cares? I thought May looked good. Pollard looked good. Keep it moving.
I will say if the Patriots weren't so bad this year, that Drake May play would be talked about so much more. Did you see it? As time expired, he threw a touchdown. to
No,
Ramondre.
I didn't even see it.
Oh, he was, like, scrambling for, like, 15 seconds, and then as time expired, he was, like, falling down, threw a touchdown, Ramondre caught it, and they tied the game to send it into OT. So, like, I mean,
Have
like,
you ever
even you didn't
seen?
see it, so it's like this would get talked about a lot, but it was, like, it was, like, not a great pass or anything, but it was just, like, he was running around back there, so it was exciting to see, like, he had a little bit of, like, it in him, so but other than that, like,
Oh yeah,
fuck this game. You're not playing any of these guys.
I will say if I'm a Pats fan, I'm hopeful.
Oh, for
After
sure.
even
Yeah.
dog
It's
shit.
exciting.
Um, have you ever seen Not Another Teen Movie?
Yes, I have.
Old movie, and at the end of the movie, the guy's like scrambling around, just dodging like 20 fucking defensive
Yeah.
linemen, and there's that music like, "There goes
Who's
my
my yeah.
hero,
Yep.
watch him as he goes."
Yeah, that was
That's what
basically Drake
UConn
May.
is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, Drake, we love you, dog. Um, okay, but that's it. Commanders, Giants. I don't really have any like burning questions per se. Um, besides that, I f- I don't know. It was kind of a strange game where like Jaden didn't have a. Let's see what he did. See how many passing yards he had. 200 and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that's a pretty legit game. And then rushing was kind of kept under there, but yeah, they're rolling. I mean, you're playing Terry McLaurin. Although Terry had 2 catches for 20 yards, but he happened to
Get 2
score
touchdowns.
twice.
Yeah.
From the Giants end, Malik Neighbors, obviously. And then I think you can start like consistently throwing Tyrone
Yep.
Tracy into your lineup.
Yeah.
17 opportunities.
Yep.
Looks fantastic. All right. Let's keep going. We're going to get into the Ravens game. Oops. Ravens beat the shit out of the Denver Broncos. And the Broncos supposedly had a good defense. Lamar Jackson is the fantasy MVP in my mind, hands down. I know Josh is having a good game. Or maybe it's Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
who also had a fantastic
I
game.
think it's
But
gotta be
if
one of
you
them
drafted-
too.
Yeah, if you drafted Lamar or Derrick Henry, or you're just a lucky son of a bitch that has both of them,
Yeah.
you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers. He had a fantastic game. I still have some fear around Zay Flowers. Like, I don't know if I'd trade for him,
Yeah.
just because of how much this offense relies on the run game. 34 rushing attempts on the night. Granted, it was a crazy game script, but
Yeah, I think Zay does get a lot of design plays for him. Obviously
yep.
the other receivers there are all dog shit, like Aguilar, Bateman. So like obviously not great competition, but like he does get a lot of design plays. You like seeing that. He didn't have any rushing involvement, but occasionally gets like a jet sweep or something. But like you said, it's just the ceiling is so low with this team because it all runs through Lamar and Derrick Henry. And when they're just stomping these teams, I know Zay had a great game this week, but it's like he only had 5 catches.
Yep.
He
Low
did,
volume. It was like a Jaden Reed game.
yeah. So
Yeah, I'm totally with you. And Deontay Johnson, not sure if we touched on that last week, but he's traded to the Ravens. I'm not excited about
no,
Deontay Johnson at all.
no, I'm not either.
At all. Maybe in a desperation flex. He is a good player. And
Yep.
but like you said, these guys get 5 or 6 targets, and hopefully you gotta pray they do something with it. But let's keep it moving. We have Eagles and the Jags. Eagles took it home 28-23. And as an Eagles fan, I was not pleased with this game. It's just been classic Eagles last 2 years, letting teams
Yeah.
back in. That being said, I think you can be very excited about Jalen Hurts just continuing to put up points. He's still the Jalen Hurts that we've known for the last 2 years. And then I'm also excited about Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
He looked great, and A.J. Brown is dealing with some sort of injury. But Devontae Smith is much like Zay Flowers. He did it on 4 receptions.
Yeah.
So therein lies the case.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Saquon's obviously a god. Hurts is a god for fantasy this season, but Devonta Smith, if AJ Brown is out, it's so good for Devonta Smith. But if
Uh,
he's back in there, it's just hard to know week to week. Like Hurts isn't throwing the ball that much. I mean, he's throwing it pretty well. He had 18 for 24, 230 yards, 2 TDs, like 130 passer rating. That's great, but it doesn't turn into like a ton of volume. So
yeah, that's it. So Devontae, I mean, he's been like this for a couple years now, right?
yeah,
Where you have to kind of play him because you'll miss his 24, 25 point game, which kind of stinks, honestly. You're kind of backed into a corner, but that will actually win you a week.
yeah,
I'll have to stay tuned on AJ Brown. We're doing an episode a couple days from now. Hopefully, we get a couple practices to do it, but obviously AJ Brown is a stud. And then speaking of studs, Saquon Barkley, like that move he did where he like spin move and then just like backwards
a little backwards hurdle.
was the craziest thing I've
Yeah.
ever
It was
seen.
like it was almost like a fucking Mario jump or something. He just like jumped in place over the guy. It was like, I don't know. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
Um,
So crazy. So again, if you have Saquon Barkley, you're loving life
yeah.
because he looks fantastic. I can't believe that I didn't draft any Saquon Barkley this
Yeah.
year.
I'm so kicking myself. I was like, yeah, it's Saquon, man. He's gonna
I know.
he's not gonna do it. And now he's just 27 for 159 with a TD, 3 catches, 40 yards TD. Like, ugh. I think he has 3 games over 30 fantasy points right now. It's just busted.
That really teaches you don't think too much
Yeah.
because it feels obvious, right? The Eagles have a great offensive line. They've had a great run game. But then you start thinking in your head, like, whoa, Jalen Hurts takes all the goal
Yeah.
line. And like they have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and they kind of sucked last year. It's like, dude.
Yep.
And he's injury prone. And it's like, God damn it. So next draft, just keep it simple.
And then he'll get hurt next year.
Exactly. Yo,
Yep.
someone will pick him top 3, 1,
Yeah.
and your life will be ruined. All right. Bears and Cardinals. Unless you want to talk about anything Jaguars related, I got nothing.
No, not at all. Doomed.
Cool. Yeah, doomed. They suck. Bears Cardinals. Cardinals steamrolled the Bears, and again an odd game. Kyler had like less than 5 points. James Conner had 100 yards on the ground, but like 3 of their players scored rushing touchdowns. What do you think about Kyler? I feel like we talk about Kyler every week, but like that was very disappointing in an absolute crushing game. Kyler was like barely there. He's invisible.
It was a boring game. I mean, he didn't have to do anything to win. It was like he had 13 completions, and it was just he played all right, not great, but like he didn't need to do anything. They just ran the like hell out of him. The Bears just can't do anything like at all. So I don't know. It's like and like everything coming out of the Bears media right now is so bad.
Like what?
They had a players only meeting after the game. And that's like not the first time they've had it this season. And then all the tweets people are shooting out there about like the highest wide receivers ranked with inaccurate or uncatchable balls, and Rome,
And,
Keenan, and DJ Moore are all way up there. So little Caleb Williams hate, which obviously he's a rookie. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal, but it's not looking good over there. Other than DeAndre Swift is still having some nice times. So
Swift had an okay game. I mean, running back scoring has been way up, as we talked about ahead of time. So he put up 14 points, which you think he'd be happy with, but he was like a RB 20 something, I think.
yeah.
But hopefully the Cards are just in better game scripts. But I was surprised about that. I was nervous that the Cardinals not be able to really move the ball on the Bears. Um, which goes to show you, don't always base your decisions on matchups.
Yeah.
Okay, getting towards the end here. Do you have anything to talk about Lions Packers? I'm good there. Lions won 24-14.
No, I think this went pretty according to the game script that everyone expected. Obviously, the studs got their points. Packers struggled a little bit, but their guys still
Yeah.
got the expected points. So, yeah.
Yeah, they did struggle. Jordan Love, I think, was still kind of injured.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't take too much from it.
Yeah. But I there's one note. So Jaden Reed is another player who fits that Zay Flowers, Devontae Smith mold. He had a pretty good game,
Yep.
but again, 4 or 5 catches. It's scary, but gotta roll him out there.
Yeah.
All right, Rams Seahawks. This was a great game. My burning question is, me personally,
Is this a JSN question? Don't tell me it's a JSN question.
no,
Okay,
it's
thank
a
you.
like how confident in the Rams offense are you question? Because me personally, I'm right back to like their Super Bowl run. Stafford is amazing.
Yeah.
Kyron kind of got bottled up, but he was still decent. And Cooper Kupp, 14 targets, 11 receptions, 104 yards.
Yeah. So I agree. The thing that's a little bit odd about this game is Puka Nakua got ejected from the game, and it was really early in the game, and it was him like kind of retaliating to someone. It was really dumb. I didn't think it deserved an ejection. So that was a little bit odd. But despite him being gone, Stafford still put up almost 300 yards, 2 TDs. I think he would have seen some of those 14 Cooper Cup targets, but obviously he makes the offense way better. Demarcus Robinson had 2 TDs. You can't really play him. I know. I think you didn't you
No,
lose at least?
That was Puka's share.
Yeah, that was Puka's share. So hopefully you didn't get bagged by someone playing Demarcus Robinson.
I almost did. But I won my matchup.
Oh, I thought you lost because of it.
I thought I did too, and then my defense sacked Joe Flacco 3 times in the final drive of the game.
There you go. Magic.
Give me the dub. Okay, Kyron, I think we'll bounce back.
Yeah.
That was disappointing because I thought he was going to run all over the Seahawks, but
Yeah, their line's still struggling. I wouldn't worry too much though.
yeah. And as the offensive passing gets better, hopefully
Yep.
kind of opens things up for Kyron a little bit. All right, getting down to the stretch. Colts and Vikings. I don't have much about this game. Kind of boring. The Vikings defense won me my championship, and JJ looked good, but JJ's ceiling is, I'm just gonna say it, it's capped, man. He's not getting you the touchdowns. He's not gonna have those like 200-yard games he's had in the past, but he will get you 20 points consistently.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, he's like a slightly more premier Amon Ra. It feels
I
like
was just thinking that, dude.
it's,
He's Amon-Ra.
he just hasn't had a boom game yet this year, like Jamar Chase or CeeDee Lamb. So
Yeah.
he's still up there in the rankings. Obviously, I believe he's wide receiver too. So like
Yes.
most consistent by far, more so than Chase even, but it's just he's not getting the TDs. They're going all around. It's always these stupid tight ends, man. Josh
Oliver, Johnny Munt,
Yeah.
Jalen Naylor. It's so frustrating, man.
Yeah. So
So frustrating. Although Addison has been getting some like deep red zone looks,
yeah.
which is nice. Colts side of the ball, Joey Flacco, our king. We love you, King. He played like shit though.
Yeah, he did.
And thus, Jonathan Taylor also played like shit. Not his fault.
Yep.
Vikings have a great D. No pass game. Not look good. Before we move on to the last game, what do you think about Josh Downs?
I know what you think about Downs. I like Downs a lot. I'm still uncertain. I think Joe Flacco's going to be fine. He's going to air the ball out. I don't think he throws for 180 yards like consistently like he did this past week. The Vikings D is very good. So I think if Joey does well, Downs will be the guy. I mean, he's a very big like possession receiver, and Flacco's a big check down guy, but also Pittman's also kind of that guy. I don't really, obviously, way more targets to Downs this past week and so far with Flacco in there. I don't really know how it's going to play out, but I do like Downs a lot. He's probably the wide receiver one there. but I don't. He doesn't have a high ceiling.
Yeah, I agree. And he's not playing that much. Like just in general, he's really not on the field
Yeah,
that often. So
he's had like quite a few injuries this year already. So like he might just be kind of like on a limited snap share that they're not talking about, kind of thing.
yes, but when he is on the field, he's getting the look. So
Yeah,
yeah, he's playable in certain matchup
yeah,
space, but
he passes the eye test for sure.
yep, he's playable.
Yeah,
He can go in your flex if you're, he might be my pick of the week. How about that?
yeah,
How about that? All right. Last game before we hang it up for the night. This was Monday Night Football. Chiefs beat the Buccaneers in overtime, 30-24. This was a great game, dude. I'm so like happy for Baker Mayfield.
yeah,
So happy. I mean, obviously he didn't walk away with a dub, but
yeah.
he looks so legit, dude.
Yeah, he does. He definitely. I mean, we've all seen the memes so far about him with the coin toss. Just like disgusted. I mean, a couple weeks ago, that's what happened when they played the Falcons, right? That game went to overtime. Falcons got the ball first. They got the touchdown right away. It feels kind of unfair. So, if if those,
Especially with Mahomes.
yeah, if those two games, like the coin toss, went different, like maybe it's a 6-3 Falcons team or Bucks team instead of this 4-5 team. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
but this
Sure.
outside of Baker right now, I mean, he's doing everything he can with who he has. You have Kate Otten doing
Yeah.
well. The running backs are abysmal. It's just like a clusterfuck. You can't really play any of them. Bucky had the most touches at 10. Uh,
Ooh.
so, and that's with receiving too. That's not just carries. So it's,
Yeah, Rashad White had 3 carries, and none of them are like their designated goal line red zone guy.
yeah,
So you can't even really rely on one of them. Kate Otten is also, I think you touched on him.
yeah,
11 targets, beast. Keep keep him in the game because he's gonna keep going.
yeah,
Young talented player. And then the only guy I really wanted to talk about on the Chiefs, DeAndre Hopkins,
yeah.
9 targets, 8 receptions, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. What do you think? Is this guy like a locked and loaded wide receiver too?
I think so. I think so. I think this is gonna everyone's gonna look back and be like, why the fuck did the Chiefs get D Hop for a 5th round pick? It's
Yeah.
he's still really good. The rest of the receivers on the team are just they're so unexciting. I mean, like Worthy is just not like a full-time wide receiver. It's like I think that's fine to admit. Like he's great for these gadget plays, but he's not like an NFL wide receiver. And then it's like, what else do you have on the roster? Like
That's it.
McCole Hardman, Justin Watson.
Trash.
Like that's
Trash.
literally it. So I think this is like a huge pickup. Um, Kelsey had an amazing game, obviously, which is kind of becoming the norm again. He's going to be a league winner in fantasy for sure.
Yep.
Joining that elite tier.
16 targets, dude.
Yeah. So I think this is what the Chiefs needed, and this might also be what Mahomes needed. I mean, he put up almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like, this really changes the offense having an alpha receiver like D Hop. So,
True. I mean, dude, this was the best game Mahomes has had in 20 something games. He
yeah.
cracked 20 for the first time.
Yep.
He looked, and we all knew like Mahomes was awesome, but like clearly something was up, and
Yeah.
now Hopkins. Kareem Hunt also noteworthy, another 27 carries, dude,
Yeah.
106 yards, 1 touchdown. I don't know when Pacheco is coming back, but like talk about league winners. Like Kareem Hunt is like that mid-season. My
Yeah.
team was struggling. You picked me up out of waivers. You
Yeah.
got your guy.
Yeah. You like reminisced about those 27, was it 2017 or 18 with Kareem Hunt on the Chiefs the first time? As soon as he got signed back there, you were like, I'm going for it. It's going to happen again. And then it actually did happen again.
It actually did. And that does not happen very often.
No.
Like he just like he still looks like the same Kareem
Yeah.
Hunt.
It never
The
happens.
age cliff,
Crazy.
that age cliff, running back age cliff, they lied to us. It was a myth, dude.
Yeah.
No, it was not real. They just didn't want to pay him.
Nope.
Alrighty. That is it for our week 9 game review. We'll be back in a couple days to talk about Week 10, which I'm sure for you, Dylan, this is like the crux of my season right here.
Yeah, this is like the big time in fantasy leagues. You got to start making moves if you're not. It's better to go out swinging
Yep.
than not at all. So it's like if you're a team that's around 500 or under 500, like you got to make some trades. And if you're sitting in the driver's seat, maybe try and target those guys like Mike Evans or someone who's a little bit banged up on those terrible teams that need like immediate production. So it's a good time to
Yeah.
like try and if you can afford it as like a first seeded team right now, take advantage of some people. So
It's great advice, honestly, because then you can just get little upgrades here and there. Like if you're playing, well, Mooney's been great, but like if you're playing a Darnell Mooney esque, or you play Josh Downs a lot, you can, and you're still in first, and you can go get T Higgins or something like that. That would be pretty fantastic.
yeah.
Alrighty, well that is it for tonight. Any closing thoughts before we hang up?
Closing thoughts is did you see any of the Jermaine Burton stuff going around?
I have not. I have
So
not. Is he? He's like a bad boy, right?
yeah, so he's a real bad boy. Obviously, much more prominent of a dynasty name than regular fantasy. He was a draft pick coming into the Bengals. Bit of a bad boy in college. A lot of coaches
Love
returned
that.
to him as an asshole. He didn't show up for Saturday practice before the game for walkthroughs, so they told him he wasn't playing. Sunday, he showed up to the stadium like in flannel PJ pants, like the rehab pants, just rocking
Oh
those.
yeah. Oh yeah. That's
And
like one of my least favorite
and then
looks of all time.
and then after the game, he was seen just at a casino by himself, sitting at a slot machine gambling. So it is like just a whole weekend of just like an absolute shit show. So
Dude, there's something up there. Like, how do you have to have mental health issues if you're a rookie in the NFL, you made your dream, and you're just like misbehaving. There's got to be something going on there.
yeah. So
Hopefully he gets it together because he was kind of a hot, dynasty rookie this year.
yeah, people are like, oh, he's T. Higgins' replacement. So and
Yeah, that was also like in peak, rookie hype time. But
yeah. So
alrighty, please leave us a like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we will see you in a few days.
see you guys.
Peace.